Right, we are back after a long week. So today I'm just going to be experimenting with a hole punch, trying to see if I can make some jewelry using very minimal products, very minimal resin, very minimal whatever I decide to hole punch, and see what we get. So this hole punch here I just popped to the shop to get because I've lost mine, and this one is a 6mm punch diameter. So let's experiment. What are we going to go with? So I've got some vinyl, got lots of different colors to play around with there, and I'm also thinking, if you remember back on #164 where I used this florist film, this iridescent film, to make some really cool effects, I'm thinking maybe I can hole punch this. Let's give it a try and see what we get. Maybe it's too thin. Right, so we're going to have to gather this up into folded sheets, I think. So I've just cut off a square sheet, and what I'm going to do is just try and fold it once and see what we get. I have lots and lots of comments whilst I've been away, so bear with me. I will get round to it. I just wanted to jump straight into filming first. That's a bit better, but it's not as crisp as I'd want it. Let's try again. Let's fold it. So there should be four per punch, I think. Let's start down this end. That's better. So what I can do now is just work my way along that sheet. It helps if you actually cut it in the area. That's better. Right, so I'm just going to gather loads of those. Our static is definitely going to be a big stressful part of this, I think. And for the vinyl, I'm going to go for this one. It's kind of got an opal effect to it in the right light. And there we have our small 6mm perfectly round piece of vinyl. Now you can do this any way you like. I am going to be using UV resin. Of course, you can do this with 2-part. This is just so much quicker, and again, one of the plus sides of using UV resin. Now I got this out because I was going to measure it. I can use that for some hardware, but I don't think I need it at the moment. I can kind of work out what part of the mold is going to be best. Now there isn't anything that's exactly 6mm, but what is the diameter on that, just so we know? That is, what's that coming up at? I'd say 8mm. Yeah, it's an 8mm. Okay, let's get started. So I'm just going to pop some of my UV resin into that small cavity. Hopefully there's no bubbles. And then I'm just going to use my dotting tool. Hopefully I can, it's got a curve to it. It's a little bit bent from the hole punch, but I don't think that's going to matter. Come on. Just slide it in there. I just don't want any bubbles on the underside. And just get that centered. I think there's a bit of a gap around the edge. We'll cure it and see what happens. So, because I left the backing paper on the vinyl, it's not going to matter, but I'm going to need to cure it from both sides. So that was just a minute on both sides because it is so small. Let's see what it looks like as it is without a backing. See what I mean about the static? Look at that. You can't really see that gap around the outside. I need to work out what I'm going to do with them. I did think about making lots of them and dropping them into something else, but I'm not sure whether the resin would just take away the shape of it and just leave what looks like the sheet of vinyl or the small ring of vinyl. Let's try with the film. Hopefully I can get it in there without a fight. Where's it gone? There's two there. We only want one. Static! Here it goes. No bubbles. So I'm going to keep that flat on the back. Let's see what we've got with the film. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks. Look at that. You can just see the ring where it kind of stops and meets the resin, but it's not that noticeable. I think if I pushed it down further into the mold, it would be less visible. So I'm going to try that again. So this time I'm just going to push it down into the resin. Let's see what we get doing it that way. Make sure it's centered. Like so. And I suppose I can top that up. Just so it's flat on the back. You can tint your resin as well. Might give some interesting results. Okay, I think that's worse. It's really, really noticeable. So I think definitely keep it on the back. But this time I'm going to try it and just give it a backing. So with this one I'm just going to give it a very, very milky coat of white pigment paste mixed with my UV resin. Not too much pigment because you do want it to cure. So I just found some of my stud earring stems, stalks, whatever you want to call them. I've lost it now. Let's get another one out. And I've just added a another small amount of that white. Because it's quite translucent, I can cure this in place from the underside. And then I can just top it up with some clear or white, whatever you like, to hold that in place. So now I just add a tiny drop. I think just one drop really would do, and then I can quickly spread that around the plate to the edge of the mold. Doesn't really matter about bubbles, I'm just playing around. You could be more careful, and then just cure that. So I'm just going to play around now, make up some more, and I'll show them at the end. Okay, so I've made a few, and I must admit I did have a couple of bubbles in some of them. Which just you just got to be really careful when you pop in the vinyl or the film, whatever you're using. This one you can just see the middle of the stud and the backing, but to me it's noticeable. But I've made some other ones. I wasn't too keen on the vinyl because you can see that it's just doesn't blend in as much. It's not so bad with the clear, but with a black background, for me it just wasn't as perfect as I wanted. But these ones so I actually found a bezel small enough that I had lying around for some of the pieces. Look at that. So you can find the right bezels or fixings for this size also, but the earrings are kind of what I think really made this work. So these were the iridescent film with a black background, and those are absolutely stunning. They really do reflect the light around as well. Lots of different colors that you can see in there, blues, greens, mainly different angles, but for next to nothing to make, they really are stunning. But the white ones, these are very opal, kind of mother of pearl. They're really, really nice. They've got a really nice pink to the blue. So it goes to show you with different colour backgrounds. You've got the yellow. Different colour backings will make the film just show a different colour completely. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, hit the button for me. These are stunning. Look at those colours. Right, I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.